can you become, or how can we all become an active listener? Because first of all, from the self-awareness, we have found out that we are not a good listener. Okay, we all are not a good listener. So in order to become a good listener, it means in order to become an active listener, what are the things that I have to do in order to become an active listener? The first thing that I have to do is I have to make an eye contact. Okay. Now, lack of eye contact is being interpreted as disinterest or disapproval. If you're talking with me, and once you're talking with me, and I just look here and there, okay, I look it in other direction, it itself means that you are disinterested or you're not agreeing to whatever the other person is saying. Okay. Moreover, once you are making an eye contact, that is the first step towards active listening, because eye contact focuses your attention and you're not getting distracted by the environment around you. You're not getting distracted with what your friend is doing. You're not getting distracted by somebody walking across the door. You're not getting distracted what is happening on the TV. You're not getting distracted by the other person in the meeting who is fidgeting with his pen or is looking into his mobile. These all things are not going to happen. So once you have an eye contact, you have a proper attention, you have a focused attention, it reduces the chances of distraction, and it is also very, very encouraging to the speaker. The speaker is getting motivated to provide you more and more information about that particular topic, which will make you understand in a more better way. Okay. So making of eye contact is very, very important to become an active listener. That is the first step towards becoming an active listener. Giving non-verbal clues, which I've told you, is also very important in order to become an active listener. Giving that affirmative nods, okay, and appropriate facial expression, that's non-verbal clues, are a sign of showing that you are interested in that person. Okay, it doesn't mean that if you don't understand something, you have to still give a nod. You can make a gesture whereby the person understands that you have not understood. Okay, facial expression in such a way that, sir, I have not understood, can you please explain, can be made, whereby the speaker himself understands that an excessive deep information is required about that particular topic. Together, a very good eye contact along with the different other non-verbal clues is going to make you a very good active listener. You are going to become a very good active listener. The third and another important thing that you have to remember is, in order to avoid distracting actions or gestures, don't make such gestures like playing with pen, playing with keychain. While talking, while somebody is talking, you're playing with the keychain. Okay, something like that. Okay, or just moving your specs, or playing with your specs, playing with your fingers, fidgeting, shuffling of papers. Okay, these all are the signs which may be distracting the speaker. Okay, speaking something into the other person ear. Okay, it might be about the topic, but don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Or looking inside your mobile. These all are the things, or not keeping your mobile on a silent tone. Nowadays, that is very, very common problem that is happening, that you don't keep your mobile on the silent tone and your mobile rings in between, which is going to distract the speaker. Kindly avoid distracting the person. Okay, don't make actions or don't make gestures, okay, which is going to make the speaker get distracted. Okay, these all action, whatever you are doing, this may make the speaker feel that the listeners are not interested in what is being said. So it is very, very important that you have to avoid distracting the speaker or giving any type of different wrong gestures to him. The next thing that you have to remember in order to become an active listener is go on asking questions. Okay, the more and more questions you ask, more simpler the speaker is going to be in order to explain you a particular topic. Definitely, it doesn't mean that you have to ask a question which is very, very irrelevant or not related to the topic. That also is not expected from you. But definitely, a good question which is going to make the speaker give more insight about a particular topic is always and always welcome by a speaker. It gives the indication to the speaker that the listener was very active, and then only see, unless and until you are active, you cannot ask a question. That is very important. Okay. So that also ensures, it makes him understand that you are active. It makes him understand that you were interested. It makes him understand that whatever the knowledge that he has shared was important. It makes him understand that the listener was engaged with him. Okay. And also it makes him give the insight about the topic for your better understanding, not only your understanding, but for the better understanding of the others also, whosoever are listening to him. So these asking of question is very, very important after each and every lecture. Try to do that. Okay. Don't be afraid of asking the question. Okay. The speaker is going to understand. Don't feel that whether the question that I've asked is wrong, whether the question is very silly or whatever it is. Don't feel it in that way. It is also always going to make your speaker happy if you ask questions. Okay. So that is another sign of a good listener, of asking the question and also giving the feedback. Okay. The next important thing that you have to do is when somebody is speaking, in between, kindly paraphrase the question. Okay. For better understanding, or in order to make him understand that you are receiving the message correctly. Just for example, Saturday, Sunday, we are going for a picnic. This is the sentence which has been said by somebody. Okay. This is a sentence which has been told by me. Saturday and Sunday we are going to go for picnic. You should immediately paraphrase it. How you are going to paraphrase it? Sir, do you mean on whatever the dates are? I don't remember the dates. Do you mean on 7th and 8th we are going for the picnic? Do you mean that this Saturday, Sunday we are going for the picnic? Do you mean that by coming Saturday, Sundays we are going to go for a picnic? Do you mean by 3 days afterwards we are going to go for a picnic? These all are paraphrasing the same sentence. Okay. So kindly paraphrase your sentences whenever a speaker is speaking, so that it gives you a better understanding. Okay. Paraphrasing is nothing but restating whatever the individual has said in different words, in your own words. So this makes the listener verify whatever the message that has been received by him is correct. Okay. If the message that has been received is wrong, then the other speaker is going to correct it. No, I was not talking about this Saturday, Sunday. I was talking about this second week Saturday, Sunday, which falls on 16th and 17th. Just for an example, the dates may be wrong. So he will paraphrase himself properly. Okay, he will correct himself properly. The speaker can do that. So please do paraphrasing, so that you understand the message very correctly and you don't go wrong in understanding of the message. Please do avoid interrupting the speaker in between. Okay. Let him speak whatever he wants to at the beginning. And once he has completed his topic, whatever he has to speak, then when your turn comes, then it is expected from you to ask the question, or it is expected from you to respond at that moment of time. Don't cut the speaker in between his sentences. If you feel that there is something which needs to be clarified, then it has to be in a proper way. Maybe by raising the hand and keeping it in the same way. Okay. Or just writing down a question and passing it on to the coordinator. Okay. These are some of the signs, whereby you can ask your questions in between if you want to. As far as possible, please avoid interrupting the speaker, because having his own thought process. Let him complete whatever he has to complete. Maybe let him complete at least the slide. Let him complete that particular topic. And from one topic, when he's migrating to second topic, that is the time, that would be the ideal time that you can ask the questions. In case of online lectures that are going on, or in case of online seminars, or the conferences that are going on, which is going to be the norm in future, which is definitely going to be the norm in future. Once you grow up, once you enter into the business, what is going to happen? Once you enter into the industry, what is going to happen? This is going to be very common. Okay, attending online meeting, etc., are going to be very common. At that time, you have a chat box, you have a question answer window where you can write down your questions. You have a hand where you can raise your hand. These all things can be done by you. Okay, before you open your mic and speak in between, okay, just see to it that whether the thought process of the speaker has been completed or not. Do not anticipate what he or she is going to say. Okay, do not anticipate it. Let him complete whatever he or she wants to say. It may be different than what you're actually thinking. And finally, do not talk too much. You are a listener. A listener has to listen, and then he can respond. Okay. Why? Because talking is very easier. Listening is very difficult. Okay. So master that process of listening. Active listener recognizes that it is impossible to talk and listen at the same time. Because for talking, you require a different thought process to be generated. For listening, you require a different thought process to be generated. So do not try to generate questions in your mind just for asking and just to creating an impact on the other person. Many times this happens also. Just in order to create an impact on the other person, you are trying to, generate questions. And while generating questions in your mind, what is happening is the actual listening process and understanding is getting barred. So don't do that. Okay. Don't try to, generate questions in your mind when they are actually not coming to you. Do not respond in between. Do not talk in between. Do not talk too much. When you are asking a particular question, when you are asking a particular doubt, you have to be as crisp as possible. It should not be that your question itself is for 5 to 10 minutes, whereas the answer is just simple yes or no. That should not be the case. Okay, that is what they mean by do not talk too much. So these are the different things. In order to become an active listener, you have to make eye contacts. You have to give non-verbal clues. You have to make good gestures. You have to avoid distraction, okay? Or you have to ask questions. You have to paraphrase the questions. You have to avoid interrupting the speaker. And you have to be as minimum in talking as you can. When you do all these things and the things which have been told to you earlier, okay, in my last lecture, when you do that, that is the time you become a very good active listener. So try to convert yourself from a passive listener to an active listener. Moving ahead to the next topic in your basic listening skills. See, we are talking about listening, isn't it? And when we talk about listening, I have already told you that listening is a very, very difficult process. Talking is an easy process. किसी को सुनना बहुत difficult होता है. And on top of that, listening under certain circumstances are very difficult. So let us see how we are going to cope up listening in difficult situations. So we will talk about few difficult situations where listening is not going to be easier. For listening is difficult. But we are going to talk about situations where the listening is more tougher. And then what are the things that you are going to do in order to listen during these difficult situations? Okay. There are some situations where you are going to be made to sit or attend meeting or lectures which are going to be very boring, which are going to be very uninteresting. Okay. There are many situations. There are many occasions where you have to sit for the meeting, where you have to sit for the lectures. You have to attend them sitting in front, and it is very, very boring. and hence paying attention becomes very, very difficult. There might be situation whereby the presentation is so very lengthy that it is very hard to sit and stay alert at the same time, and also to understand the information. There are going to be situations. There might be a meeting where it seems that the meeting is so boring that it doesn't end only. It starts now and you feel that after 10 minutes it's going to get over, after 20 minutes it goes on to hours, and then it goes on to hours together, maybe 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, and the meetings are going on. In such situation, it becomes very difficult for the person to grasp. So how are you going to handle these tough situations? How are you going to handle these difficult situations? And how are you still going to concentrate and still you're going to remain focused? That is an art. Okay, that is a skill which you have to develop. I can just give you some few tips. Okay, how you can keep your concentration going under these difficult situations. Okay, let us take the first situation whereby you are sitting listening to a boring meeting. You are sitting in a meeting and the meeting is very, very boring in nature. Now, how you are going to keep your listening skill intact in such situation in a boring meeting? What are the tips that I can give you? The first step is try taking notes. Okay, go on taking the notes. Whatever the speaker is trying to speak, go on taking note. Because once you only keep listening, there are chances that from an active listener, which you are trying to be, isn't it? You are making an effort to become an active listener. You may convert into a passive listener over a period of time. If you are taking the notes, then what is happening is there is an activity that is going on simultaneously. Okay, once a listening activity and writing activity that goes on simultaneously, okay, when you incorporate an activity, and what better in activity than writing it down? Okay, please do not, as I have said, that incorporate the activity. Don't incorporate the activity of playing with your mobile. That cannot be an activity, isn't it? So we are incorporating an activity which is going hand in hand of listening, that is taking down of notes. Okay, taking down of notes not only makes makes a boring maybe lecture or maybe an what you call that, a meeting, very interesting, but it also makes you understand more in depth about a particular topic. When a speaker, the second thing that you can do is whenever the speaker is speaking, if you don't want to write down, then mentally list and relate the things that he is trying to say. So if he's saying that he is talking about a topic about the purchase of the example that we say, we have always seen that is purchasing of an equipment, okay, which is required in a tableting section. He is talking about that topic. Then please do try to list the activities. How do I want the equipment? Try to go to the tableting department. Okay, virtually try to go into the tableting department. Mentally go into the tableting department. Try to relate the activities that are required over there. Try to visualize what is the kind of equipment that would be required. Okay, so on and so forth. So you have to mentally make yourself go into that situation. So that is going to make you understand whatever the speaker is speaking, and in that way you're going to relate to whatever he is trying to speak. Okay. So relating yourself, mentally listing the things is going to make you a very good listener into the boring situations also. Keep on asking questions, okay, and keep yourself engaged. This is not only going to keep you engaged with the speaker, but this is going to help others also to understand their queries. As I've told you earlier, but when you are asking the question, please be please be specific. Whatever you are asking, please be crisp. Don't ask lengthy questions. Ask the question which are related to the topic, and please do not interrupt the speaker, so whereby he is going to get disturbed in his lecture. Okay, Whenever he's changing his slide, whenever he has finished with a particular topic, that is the time you can raise your hand and you can ask the question. So asking question is very important, but asking question should not distract it. So while you are doing a boring meeting, try taking notes, mentally list or relate the points that have been made, and ask questions and stay engaged. These are the tips that I can give you for the listening during the boring meetings. So the first difficult situation that we have taken is the boring meetings. Let us take the second situation. Okay, the situation that you are put into every day, listening during the lectures. Okay, so it is not that only during your academics, that's when you're a student, that you have to attend the lectures. Training sessions are going to go on till the end of your life. Today also we do attend lectures, we do attend seminars, we do attend conferences. Okay, attending the lectures and keeping yourself focused for a long period of time is definitely a difficult situation for you, right? How can you improve? And many a times, many of the students have this problem that while sitting in the lecture, they wander here and there. Everybody does. Nothing bad in it and nothing new in it. There are very few students who can really focus onto the topic. If you are one of them that you're finding it difficult to focus on the topic, then what are the things that you can do? Please remember, these are the things which also is applied everywhere. Taking notes, mentally listening, asking questions. This is going to imply to each and every difficult situation. What else you can do extra? Try to sit on the first bench instead of sitting on the last bench. Don't be happy telling people that I am a last bencher. कोई शान नहीं उसमें ये बताने में कि मैं लास्ट बेंचर हूं. Okay, if you are a last bencher, try to come and sit in the front of the room so that you get a very clear view of the board, of the speaker. If the speaker is the tone of the speaker is mild, okay, he is very soft, then many times students at the last bench cannot hear him. When you are a first bench speaker, you can hear him properly. So try to come and sit on the first row. Okay, that is the one thing that you can do in order to focus your listening. Second thing is avoid sitting to the noisy people. Okay, avoid sitting to the people who love distracting you. Avoid sitting to the person who is going to constantly speak something, or is going to play with the mobile, or is going to keep on fidgeting. Okay, try to not be close with them, but try to be as close with the speaker as you can by sitting on the first bench. There is something where that is known as flipped classroom. I don't know how many of you are aware of flipped classroom. Flipped classroom is a very good technique, for the professors also and for the students also. Flipped classroom is nothing but, you earlier study whatever the topic has been told by the teacher. And once the topic has been told by the teacher what he is going to teach in the next lecture, you go home, you study about the topic, you try to research about the topic a little bit beforehand, you make notes, okay, you bring those notes in the classroom, and then you are trying to ask questions or solve your doubts only. The teacher is not going to explain as I'm explaining you now. He's not going to explain anything. He's just going to brief you about the topic, and whatever you have read, whatever questions you are having in your mind regarding that particular topic, whatever doubts you are having, so it will be only a doubt clearing session. In flipped classroom, you are flipping the classroom, that your classroom is your home, where you're already researching about the topic, and then you're coming over and sitting in the classroom. What does this make you is this makes you understand about the topic. Okay, and secondly, when you're sitting in the classroom, the understanding level still increases when the professor is speaking. Okay, give proper eye contact, give proper attention to your lecturer, to your speaker, to your professor, or when you're in the conference, when you're in the meetings, to the speaker, whosoever is speaking. Kindly give him proper eye contact, kindly give him proper gestures. Okay, try to remain focused as far as possible. Okay, so these are the few things that you can try out. If you are finding that sitting in a lecture is too tough for you, too difficult for you, in such cases, try out these situations, try out these things. Sit in the front row. Okay, avoid being near to the noisy peoples. Okay, do proper homework, do research, do study the topic, whatever the professor is going to teach the next time. Try to open the textbooks, try to read it, try to understand it, and then come and sit in the classroom. See how much difference it is going to make. Give a proper eye contact to your professors, to the speaker. Okay, see, give a proper gesture. Just see what is going to happen. Just try to understand the difference between the two lectures, yesterday's lecture and today's lecture. Yesterday I was not prepared and I was sitting for the lecture. Today I am prepared, I am sitting for the lecture. Try to understand the difference. So this is the difficult situation, that is listening in during the lectures. Let us take the third difficult situation, that is listening during an interview. You very well know an interview is a very, very important. It may be an interview or you can take it as a viva also. So listening in an interview or listening in a viva is another difficult situation. Why it is difficult situation? Because mentally you are very unstable at that moment. You are stressed. You are tensed. Why? Because it is either a viva interview whereby your marks are dependent upon it. So you are tense whether I am going to answer it or not. Or during the interviews you are tensed whether I am going to get the job or not because of the questions I do not answer. Whether the interviewer is going to ask me difficult questions, whether the interviewer is going to put me into the spot. Okay, what is going to happen? Moreover, if there are panel of interviewers who are sitting, 3 to 4 interviewers who are sitting and randomly asking you questions, then again listening becomes very, very difficult under these circumstances. So if you are unclear what is the question that has been, whatever I have told you earlier, these points are going to be there. You have to keep a proper eye contact. You have to going to have a focus attention. Okay, you have to paraphrase the questions, right? These all things you have to do. One more important thing that you have to do is, if you are unclear what the person has said, you are going to repeat whatever he or she has said. If he's asking you, tell me something about tablets, if that is a question that is asking, then please ask me, sir, do you want me to define about the tablets? Sir, do you want me to give advantages and disadvantages of tablet? Because you are unclear what he's asking. Whether he's asking the definition of a tablet, whether he's asking the advantages or disadvantages of a tablet. Sir, are you asking me importance of tablet? Sir, are you asking me how it is going to be manufactured? And so on and so forth. Sir, are you asking me about the excipients that have to be put into it? So try to repeat whatever he has said. Two advantages into this. Once you paraphrase the question, or once you again ask what he is trying to say, once you again repeat it, while repeating, you are also subconsciously trying to, recollect your thoughts about you are trying to recollect the answer in your mind. Okay. And secondly, that will also make you understand that whether the question that I have heard is properly, and whatever is expected by the listener, okay, by the speaker, you are trying to understand that. In an interview, try to have a very normal conversation. Don't make it as if somebody is asking you and you are answering. Okay. Instead of it making it as a question answer session, try to convert an interview into a conversation. Okay. If you convert an interview into a conversation, it will make you, first of all, it is going to make you relax, and this question answer session or this interview is going to be very, very fruitful. Okay. So this is the second tip that I can give you. That is, make the interview or convert the interview from a question answer session to a conversation session. Proper eye contact, proper body language, that nobody can deny. These two are the very, very important factors when you are listening, whatever the situation may be. Whether you are attending a meeting, whether you are listening to a professor, whether it is an interview, okay, or handling problems during an effective session, whatever it is, proper body language is very, very important. The next important, aspect or difficult situation is when you are listening to somebody else's problem or we are handling the problems. You have to each and every day, once you join your organization on a very good level, okay, on a supervisor level, at a supervisor level, okay, what you have to do is daily in and out, you have to solve the problems of your juniors, of your subordinates, okay. Also problem solving of your very well of your friends, etc., that also is there, right? And that is a very difficult situation. To solve somebody else's problem is a very, very difficult situation. And you can solve the problem only and only if you have properly listened to that problem. If you properly listen the problem, if you properly understand the problem, if you properly analyze the problem, then and then you can give a proper solution to the problem. So in order to give proper solution to the problem, listening is very, very important for you. So the first step in handling the problem is proper listening to the problem properly and rephrasing the problem as I've told you earlier. Do you mean to say that? Do you mean to say that? Do you mean to say that person did this to you, and so on and so forth? Okay. At the same time, once you're paraphrasing, once you're listening the problem, okay, try to make him visualize the solution also. Okay, which you can do at the last step also. So first, properly listen to the problem. Then, as I told you, know the problem. Okay, and after knowing the problem, try to tell him how the colleagues can help him out into his problem, or how you can help him out in that problem. What is the role that you can play out in solving that problem? Once you are listening to a problem, once you are handling a problem, try to sit next to the person. Don't sit across the table, okay, or sorry, behind the desk. So sit next to him or across to him in such a way that it is not that you are behind the table and he is in front of the table. Don't keep gap between you and him. Okay, so there should be nothing that is coming in between you and him, right? Don't be judgmental. That is the most important thing that you have to do everywhere. More so ever when you are solving any problem. So whenever you are listening to somebody, don't be judgmental. Okay, be understanding. Don't try to put the other person wrong at every given moment of time. We have this habit, I don't know how many of you must have noticed it. We immediately try to say that the other person is wrong. Immediately. And we immediately try to judge a person. अरे यार ये झूठा है, यार ये चोर है, he is not a good man. Immediately as he is speaking out, we try to be judgmental about him. Don't be judgmental, not only about him or also about the other person about whom he is complaining. Don't be judgmental, be understanding. Don't apply in between any mental or emotional filters that you are having in your mind. So don't apply filters in between. Okay, be a very good effective listener. Notice the body language of the other person as well as notice body language of yourself also. When the other person is speaking, try to notice his body language, try to analyze his body language, try to learn the non-verbal clues that you are giving. At the same time, give your positive verbal clues to him. Okay, non-verbal clues, sorry. Try to give your non-verbal clues to him. Maybe with respect to the body language, with respect to the tone, with respect to the pitch of your talk, the pitch in which you are talking, so on and so forth. So notice the body language of other person and notice your body language also when the person is telling you the problem. Once he has already told you the problem, summarize whatever he or she has said to you and agree upon the steps to move forward. Whatever I have told you earlier, those points remain the same. What are those? Keep eye contact. Okay. Have a very positive body language. Okay. Do listen to, keep a focus attention. Try to note down the points. When he's trying to say something, when he's telling you the problem, try to note down the point. Make a graphical representation if you want, so that you can discuss upon that graphical representation, so that you can make, what you call that, bondages in between them. So it is going to be easier for you to discuss with him afterwards. Try to make that. Okay. So whatever points I have, though I have divided this point into different segments, but what you can do is you can combine all these points in order to become a very good listener. And we are taking the last difficult situation, that is listening to your boss or listening to your professor, listening to your superiors. Okay. Is a very, very, very difficult situation. Okay. When you are listening to your professors, when you are listening to your bosses, when you are listening to your superiors, please don't let your attitude interfere while you are listening. Are who is he? He's a BSc person. I am a B Pharm. And he's trying to tell me? Or I am a master in pharmacy. He is just a bachelor of pharmacy. And what he is trying to tell me? I am so learned. I have so much of experience. And what this person is telling me? These are the different negative attitudes that you have when your boss is telling you. Okay. But remember, he is your boss. And if he is your boss, he is always right. Right? You have to remember that. So once you are listening, don't have that, negative attitudes, come in between you and him. Please avoid sharp criticism. When you are speaking with him or her, whoever is your boss or the superior, avoid sharp criticism. ये क्या आप बकवास बोल रहे हो? Okay, sir, this is a very bad idea. These are very sharp criticism. Avoid such sharp criticism. You can put the criticism in a very positive and a simple language. Okay, if you have not liked his idea, you can just tell him, sir, your idea I have listened, but can we modify the idea in such a way? Sir, I have one more idea with regards to this. Would you like to listen it to me? Sir, can we do it in this way? These are the proper words. Don't say, sir, क्या बकवास idea है? मेरे पास इससे भी अच्छी idea है. Don't. These, you are speaking with the boss. Please do remember that. Okay. So please avoid sharp criticism. Like in other cases of listening, avoid any mental or emotional filters. When we talk about mental or emotional filters, we are basically talking about the prejudices that are there in your mind. You people have lots of prejudices, and everybody has those prejudices. That this is a topic where I know the best. Whatever he is speaking is wrong. My boss doesn't understand anything of this. I am the person who is master into this. Okay. My boss always is going to try to put me into a spot of bother. My boss doesn't think right of myself. My boss doesn't want me to grow. These are some of the prejudices, some of the mental blocks, some of the emotional filters that you have in your mind. Please remove that and then listen to your boss. Don't have any judgmental attitude. Don't judge your boss on whatever he or she is saying, right or wrong. Don't judge him. Okay. Just notice the body language, yours as well as his. What kind of body language he is using, what kind of tone he is using. And once you're observing him, you also try to see what is the body language that you are using when he is speaking. Don't try to use any wrong body language or any wrong tone when you're speaking with the person. Okay. And who is your boss? Okay. So beware of your body language and tone, and beware of his body language and also listen with empathy and understanding. Put yourself into his shoes. Try to think from his perspective. Try to understand the situation from his eyes. Okay. Put yourself emotionally into that place and then try to listen to your boss. You will see that you will be understanding your boss very nicely. So these are some of the difficult situations that you are going to come across. Okay. The situations like speaking with your bosses. Okay. Listening to your boss, listening while you are listening to the problems of, it may be of your colleagues, it may be of your family members, it may be of your friends. Okay. So listening to the body problems and listening to the problems and handling those problems. Okay. That time you should have a very good listening skill. There is a difficult situation when you are giving an interview. There is a difficult situation when you are listening to a lecture. And there is a difficult situation when you are attending the meetings, seminar, conferences, etc. So during all this, difficult situations, you have to adjust yourself in such a way that during all these difficult situations and many more difficult situations that you are going to face in life, during all this situation, you have to be good enough as a listener. Okay. Thank you very much, friends.